All right, you're live.
Thank you. Good morning, all. This is John Purvis. I'm pleased to be presenting today on the concept of project planning using a key milestone project. First things first, I really wanted to thank the sponsors of the conference for help to make this 24 hours of training eventful. I hope you enjoyed your time, and we'll enjoy the recordings that you missed at some later point. My name is John Purvis. I'm a principal consultant at Sensei Project Solutions. I'm a Microsoft certified professional in Project Online and SharePoint. I'm based in Dayton, Ohio. I've been using projects since 1990 something, and I've been installing Project Server since 2002. My primary focus is on project on-premise work with Project Online work as recently. I'm a reporting specialist, predominantly in the SSRS and using the SQL processes. And I hope you enjoy the education you'll see today on key milestone projects. Sensei Project Solutions, if you don't already know, we were the Partner of the Year winner in 2014, and then again finalist in 2015 and 17. Sensei has participated in 500 plus PPM deployments, and we have over 5,000 PPM users have been trained. And Microsoft Sensei has a global impact through its shared resources and partner resources, and it's been a pleasure working with Sensei. Let's start out with a couple of simple definitions. I think everybody knows what a master project is, but it's a consolidation of individual projects into a single schedule. This provides then the ability to create and visualize cross-project links, dependencies between these projects. And it also provides a consolidated visualization of all the related projects. It is also referred to as an integrated master schedule, or IMS, by government contracts work. The concept of this master schedule actually came out from a major government program that I was working on a few years ago. And you'll learn a little bit more as we move forward on how this process was developed and why it was developed. There's two concepts that comes to master projects. You have the ability to create master projects from a desktop, where you're constructing your master project using a set of MPP files. The issues that we have is the cross-project dependencies within these desktop masters use the project ID to define the link. And then when you add links or you add tasks or remove tasks in a project, these links can be broken because the secondary project doesn't know that the task that you were referencing, number 10, is now number 11. And you have to go back and do some manual fixings to fix the links across the MPP files. The second issue is that a common workaround for this that's been developed over years is people add their cross-project links are added as milestones at the top of their schedule, and then the tasks that are below are referenced up to these milestones, and then these milestones at the top of the schedule are used to link to the second schedule. While this prevents the problem it helps to minimize the problem with inserting new tasks, it does little to help you understand and visualize the project, because now you're going from a task to a link, or to a task to a milestone that goes to a link to another project, and they can be very difficult to follow. While they'll maintain the dependency, again, it's very difficult to read. The next problem is the projects must be maintained in a shareable location. So that if others are looking at the individual projects or using the master schedule, everybody has to have a common store to store the projects that are saved for use within the master schedule. And this tends to create problems because every once in a while somebody inadvertently saves a schedule to a local file, and then when somebody the next time they open up the master, it's looking in the wrong location for the most current version. And the other limitation that comes from master projects using desktop schedules is the resources in the projects to be shareable. You have to maintain a separate resource project within your portfolio of projects in the master to provide the resourcing across those projects. Server, using a server-based, whether it's online, project online, or project on-prem within your environment, it has its own issues too. While master projects can be saved to the project online or project on-site environments, I do not really recommend that. It creates more issues than it provides values, and the reasons are as follows. By default, the sub-projects are not visible in Project Center. It's a simple fix. You click one button and the projects will become visible in Project Center. The bigger issue is once the server notes a project as a sub-project, it's always a sub-project. So even if you take it out of the master project, the system will always think it's still a sub-project attached to some sort of project. The next biggest issue is when the master project is opened, you have to open the sub-projects before the project will actually correctly display the interactive timeline data. And when a master project is completely opened, the inserted projects are checked out. This then prevents the owners of the individual projects from updating their plans. And lastly, and I'll demonstrate this in a second here, when a master project is open, if a sub-project has already been checked out by others, any changes to the sub-project will not be allowed to be saved back to the server. And additionally, when the master project was closed, the save of the checked out sub-projects will prompt for the file to be saved as a local MPP file. And if this is selected or done, because many people don't understand what it's really tasking you, it actually will destroy the original links in the master project. The great news is that the cross-project links use a task GUID or unique ID for identification. These links are maintained even when tasks are inserted or moved around within a project plan, as they are unique to the task. So these create make project server or project online help maintain master projects or cross-project linking much better than they will on an MPP file without the need to create milestones at the top of your schedule. To give you an idea of what happens when you open up a master schedule in Project Professional is I have gone out and created this residential construction master project. And as you can see, it's going to have 3 sub-projects, the house 1, 2, and 3. And when I click and open the project from the Project Online environment, I can check out the project was checked out read-only. And I now have my, change over here to Gantt chart. I now have my 3 projects checked out into the, oh, excuse me, I thought I had all the projects in here. So I'm inserting project 2. I'm going to go to sub-project again, and I'm going to insert project 3. Just think it hard. The subtleness that you may not see, which is only because I had previously checked out project 3, and that's the reason it took so long, is there's a little red explanation point put next to this inserted project. And what it's warning you is this project is already checked out on the server, and even if this project is read-write, this project will not be savable back to the system. So the next thing I would do is I would select all my tasks. I would then go to my view and I would say open, and I want to see all subtasks, and this expands the projects out. So now I actually have now the visualization of all 3 projects. If I were now to go ahead and save this file, and I do File, Save, it's going to ask me, do I want to save the construction project 1? I can say yes. I want to save construction project 2, I can say yes. If I want to save construction project 3, it'll say yes. And it'll actually say, do you want to save a copy of the file because this project is already out read-only? If I say yes, it's going to prompt me to actually save it to a different name or save it as a file to the desktop. And this creates the unique problem of is the project already checked out, and I can't save any revisions to this while I'm working on my master project. I'm going to hit File, Close, and just close this opportunity. Okay. So this is the alludes to this problem. If the project is checked out, you can't work at it. Additionally, when the project is checked out or checked out prior, you will be prompted to save it as an MPP file. This is the concept of where this master project planning process came from. I was involved in a very large Air Force program. This particular program, the IMS, or Integrated Master Schedule, was comprised of 50 individual project schedules, some from the integrator and some from the Air Force. And the actual master project, when you opened up the IMS, was 35,000 lines long. So again, what I'm speaking to here is large project, master project can be difficult to manage due to the quantity of sub-projects or activities involved. If a master project happened to consist of it can consist of anywhere from 2 to 100 individual projects. And for example, if a master project contained 50 projects and each of those projects had 200 tasks, this master project would contain 10,000 tasks. If you were to review a task in a project plan, it can take you anywhere from 50 to 30 seconds to actually look at the task, evaluate whether it's on schedule, not scheduled, does it need any corrections, and that is the amount of time to visually just even read the name of the task and look at the details of it. Therefore, if I were reviewing this 5,000 lines of a project at a half a minute each, it would take 5,000 minutes, half a minute times the 10,000 tasks, or 83 man hours to complete a review of the 10,000 tasks. So a little bit beyond what it takes in a 40-hour work week to actually look at all the project tasks in a master project. This is therefore impossible for a single person or group to review. And the key milestone concept was designed, in this case, to capture and track the 100 to 200 key milestone tasks. So again, just think about that. You have a 10,000 line tasks and you want to sit down. In this case, we're sitting down in front of the general and his staff and many of the other people within the government program. And somebody would try to bring up the 35,000 line tasks and have some sort of discussion. It was just too long, too meaningless, and therefore it was the key milestone concept was designed to filter this down into the 1 to 200 key components that needed to be monitored within this large program. What does the key milestone project provide? Well, the key milestone project is designed to provide the following functions. It provides a rapid view of the performance to the set of key dates. It provides enterprise management, or basically a higher level management of the cross-project dependencies, such that before a key milestone is changed, the recovery, the lateness of a predecessor task has to be exhausted before the downstream changes are allowed to occur and that key milestone is allowed to be changed within the program. We also eliminates the use of a true master schedule to manage the program. When a master schedule is opened from a server, again, it checks out all the projects, and this prevents the owner from opening and updating or saving their individual projects. So you can imagine in a program that had 50 individual projects, anytime somebody would open a master schedule that was connected to those, you had the ability to lock out 50 project managers from working on their own plan. In this case, the program manager or senior management or the PMO, whatever you want to you decide, actually manages the key milestone schedule, and this provides to govern and review the overall program status. And in the end, we end up using total slack or float is used to monitor the progress and lateness within a project schedule. Continuing on with the key milestone concepts, the master project is not created on the server to manage a program. We do create an offline read-only desktop master that's created and this will be demonstrated later on, to actually provide you the ability to look at the master schedule should you need to. A key milestone project is created and managed to capture, again, the key dates. An example is the key finish date of phase 1 is a milestone. And the finish date for all activities in project 1 become a predecessor for all the activities in project 2. They key off of this key milestone. The other concept we deal with is links between individual projects are not used. All external links flow to and from the key milestone project or projects. This minimizes the project open delays, as all links are only to the smaller program schedule or key milestone schedule. This eliminates the background opening of all the other schedules that would be involved in cross-project linking should you be using those in your schedule. So this vastly improves the opening and functioning within your schedule, because you're not dealing with the interaction between your projects and 10 schedules. You're in each 10 large schedules. You're interacting with your project and its interaction with the key program milestone schedule itself. The other concept we deal with, except for the master project milestone project, we put no fixed constraints, or basically no must finish on, no start nor earlier constraints are used in the individual projects or any of the red constraints. Okay. And lastly, if a project has to be replaced, the only links that have to be fixed are to the key milestone project. We don't have to go out and discover that this project was linked to 15 other projects in our program, and we have to go out and update the links that are in that project to 15 projects. No, this project only links to the key milestone project. So when we have to fix it or replace it or update the project with a newer version, should we have some sort of issue, we only have to update it to the single master key milestone project. This is actually a presentation of an offline master schedule using key milestones. We have a key milestone project that has completion dates in it, or we have a phase 1 completion date. And this serves as the anchor for many of the activities in the plan. And this is a fixed on, you see the red indicator that's showing that this is a must finish on date, and it's been set to 7/1. We then have 3 schedules that are involved in the process. We have project 1 and the completion of project 1, which is currently forecast to be finished at 6/25, is linked up to what is called, we refer to it as a receiving milestone. And that in turn, it then comes down and is linked to the phase milestone in the project plan. Project 2, again, has a completion date. In this case, we're actually starting to show early on that the original baseline date was here. We're currently at 7/4. This links up to its own key date, and it then links to the key milestone date. While this is occurring, we have project 3, which is the successor to start phase 2. And this project is actually linked from a start project milestone in our key milestone project to the start of the project 3. And if you notice, even though project 2 is running late, project 3 is not affected by this lateness. And this speaks to the concept we said before. Until this lateness cannot be recovered in the project plan, so we have plenty of time theoretically to recover some of this lateness, we do not change the key milestone. This prevents the turmoil common with many master projects, that when we have some predecessor project that is running late, the rest of the projects in the system that are linked to it also start to run late, and the project manager of project 3 has a difficult time trying to understand what is the problem. Maybe 2 projects back, it may be 3 projects back, and a whole bunch of links, and it creates turmoil in the system. And in this case, many times key milestones or master projects tend to be not used because we have no control over lateness impacting the rest of the program. We'll also talk about a little later on, we can see that total slack becomes the key column for us to actually get a quick visualization of where lateness is in our program. And anytime we see negative slack or negative float, we know we have an issue. And in this case, we can see that project 2 completion is running -3 days against the key milestone. It's reflected in the key milestone schedule. I don't even have to look at the individual schedule, but once I make this determination, I can then go open up the individual schedule, and I can see where the lateness is, and we can have a discussion with this project manager of project 2 to try to discover, is there some sort of path to recover what is causing this lateness. We use our PMI crash and compression processes to make appropriate recovery of project 2. And again, if we can't make a determination that we can't recover this, then we're going to have to make some sort of global change, some higher level change, to push this milestone, the phase milestone, out for everybody in the program. So how do we actually set up this project? I created, again, to get this started, I started with 3 simple projects. They're nothing more than project 1 with tasks A through E and a completion date, and they're all set together. So I have 3 projects to get things started. Again, just very simple. They're all starting on same day. They're 5-day tasks, and all finishing on 6/25. We then go off, and I'm going to create a key milestone project. And we're going to create a task that we're going to call our key milestone, and we're going to create that within this key milestone schedule. So I created a project. I then create a phase 1 completion, which is a key milestone which we want to monitor, and I can have 1 to 5 projects that are all driving towards this completion of this milestone, and they will be linked to this milestone. When we create these key milestones, we do set in a deadline to actually get our little green arrow, which is nice to indicate where the deadline was. We set a constraint to must finish on, and we set our constraint date. Again, it's a milestone with 0 duration, and we go ahead and mark the task as a milestone. So this is the phase 1 completion, and again, we might have anywhere from 1 to 100 or 200 of these key milestones within our program in the key milestone schedule. We can then, and this really has become kind of optional, but you have this ability to create, and this helps with just the visualization without having to open up the sub-projects, is I'm going to create this receiving task, which is the project 1 completion. And this is a task in my master schedule that's created above my key milestone. It's going to be as soon as possible, and its predecessors are always linked before or presented before, and they're linked to finish. And the successors are always after, and they're linked finish to start. Okay. So in my receiving task, we link it to the key milestone. So we're taking our project 1 completion and connecting it to the project one phase, and we're considering it a finish link. So with the start date of this project currently being 5/22, this defaults to being showing that the project 1 completion is set to 5/22 and our key milestone is 7/1. To aid in the assistance of key milestone, or anytime you're dealing with project to project linking, I always encourage people tend to think they need to create a true master project, and that's probably one of the #1 misuses of master projects in the system. This project professional allows you to create, and I use the term virtual master, but you can use a new window or new view. So this is a window, we click on new window, and this allows us, when we click on new window, we can select the projects we have open. In this case, I'm going to select my key milestone project in project 1. I say OK, and it's actually going to open up this virtual master. So I actually have a schedule which has both projects in it. You can see my project 1 completion milestone, my project 1 completion task, and here's my project 1 itself. And currently there's no link between the two tasks. Okay. So we spin up this virtual master. We don't have to have a master schedule. We just use this new window trick. We select the projects we're going to be using in our linking process. We say OK, whatever view you want to use, and then we're created a virtual master or temporary master, whichever one you want to refer to it as. And again, this is just the view of that in a little bit bigger focus. Here's the key milestone. Here's our project. Here's our key milestone hard linked or hard must finish on task. And then we turn around and we do our selection of project 1 complete task on the bottom. We then select the receiving milestone task on the top, and we're going to create a finish to finish link between the key milestone project as a successor, which then becomes a predecessor to the project 1. This is the successor is the key milestone, and this is the predecessor is the project 1 task 6. Okay. And again, this is finish. And the effect of this is this project now shows that its finish is 6/25. And because it's connected up to this link, and the actual fixed link doesn't happen up here till 7/1, the project ends up having it's going to end up having this free float or total slack based on this difference. This is the concept of planning the work without planning the end date. So you're automatically going to get your total float in your project without the need to force total float into your project. You actually have built into this process, you then end up getting your total float from the external milestone. Once we've created the link, we're going to go ahead and close this virtual master. It's always going to be noted by a name consisting of project and then some sort of number. So I click on close for the project X that I was on, and I do not save, and I use the discard to basically throw away this project 2 because it was created in the new view is this virtual master, and I want to discard it and get rid of it without saving. And when I do so, I then have the ability to look at my 2 individual projects. And you can see that when I look at the key milestone project, I have the external link coming from project 1. I have the project 1 milestone here, and I have my key milestone. So if I quickly open up this key milestone schedule on its own, I can see that right now, to get towards the completion of phase 1, project 1's in good shape. It's got 6 days of free float still left into it, or total float left into it, and we don't have to really worry about it. And when I look at project 1 and I look at it, you can see that it's showing that it's actually it's on schedule and it's finishing on 6/25. We actually have the ability to link to a task instead of a milestone. So instead of using a final milestone, I can link to the last task in the project plan to give me a representation. So in this case, I link to my link from my project 1 is to the last task, this P1 task E, and that's linked to my completion milestone, and that's linked to the phase milestone. And I get a representation showing the progress of that task as it relates to being able to complete on 625. So I can see that I'm about 30% complete on this task, and it gives me a different visualization instead of milestone to milestone. We also have the ability, and this is kind of a newer thing that's done here, is in my project 1, right below the project summary, I actually create a summary task. Now, there's different schools of thoughts as to saying related or cross-project links on summary tasks is not a good thing. I haven't seen any problems recently. It used to be a problem in the past. I think that the progress has been improved over time to allow that to be completed to be fixed, remedied over time. But in this case, this project summary then encompasses the progress of all the tasks in the project plan. So I have a summary bar, which represents the overall progress. This also then represents the percent complete of the overall tasks. And you can see that I'm coming down in here and I'm 61% complete. And when I link this task to, when this summary task is then linked to my receiving milestone, you'll see that I have a task that's showing 61% complete. But right now the projected finish is 7.4 and my key milestone is 7.1. Thus, this task is currently -3 days behind in total slack, and it's represented in both the project plan as an entity and in the key milestone as an entity. So this allows you to see this progress, see the overall progress of the project, and also to see any lateness that you're then going to talk to this project owner, project 2 owner, to see what we're going to do. Can we recover to bring this back to where we need to be, which is 7.1, okay? You know, we don't need to finish at the original baseline date, but we need to finish somewhere around 7.1. So we're 3 days behind in the schedule, and the discussion then goes to the project manager 2. What are you going to do to fix it? So again, think about this concept where we're sitting in a room with a whole bunch of executives within a program, and instead of bringing up all the projects and all the details and looking for the detail, we bring up this key milestone schedule, and we can immediately highlight and flag anything that's got a negative slack to it, and immediately focus on, okay, we got a problem in project 2. Let's go look at project 2 and discuss what options we might have to recover it. I don't need to look at anything in project 1. It's on schedule. It's doing okay. I'm happy. I don't need to look at the details of it, right? So this helps you to cut down on the amount of discussion that you might have in a program schedule. To give you a representation of what all these projects looks like linked together, here's my key milestone project. And again, I've got a completion from one of the things you can do is in the key milestone project is I actually insert the project column. I insert the project column, which gives me the project name and the task. So I know that this particular task is coming from project 1, and the task in project 1 is project 1 completion. This is in the key milestone project, it's project 1 completion, and so on and so forth. And you can see that the projects come together. Down here is the key milestone is project 3 start, and then that's linked to the project 3 task P3A, or the first task in project 3. So you have this ability by inserting the project column into your key milestone to get this nice presentation of what project name it's associated with and what task it's coming from too. So the next concept we really want to talk about is in government program, we're always required to create an integrated master schedule. And to me, the simplest way to do this is we actually going to go turn around and we're just going to create a local MPP file to be our master schedule. So we create a new schedule. We then go ahead and once we have the schedule, we start to insert the projects that we're dealing with, the key milestone, project 1, 2, and 3. And when we're inserting them, we're going to insert them as read-only. So in the project, insert of project information under the advanced tab, you have this ability to put a checkbox in here to say it's read-only. So as we're bringing those in, we say read-only, and all the projects will show up with a red exclamation point indicating that they're read-only. We can save this file to a local MPP file, and when we open up that MPP file from the desktop, you can then go ahead and expand all the sub-projects that are in it as read-only. This prevents this server locking issue I referred to earlier, but allows you to review and look at the master schedule, which is what your original intent was in constructing the program. But instead of having project 1 and 2 be predecessors to project 3, their links go up to the key milestone, and project 3 gets its link back from the key milestone. Again, this is this concept that project 3 is not linked to 1 and 2. Project 3 only has one link up here to the key milestone, and these projects are then linked up again to the key milestone 2. This also helps you to prevent the infamous circular references where people tend to create this project goes to this project, then this project goes to here, and then this project goes to here, and you end up having a circle, which means this project goes to here, and there's a backfeed to the link to this one, and this one might be linked to this one, and you end up with this circle of references. As you can see, there's no links between the two projects, therefore eliminates the ability to have this potential circular references problem when linking tasks to tasks. So we're just going to, again, we're kind of repeat, we're going to evaluate what happens when a project is running late. And again, we have this representation we saw before. The original baseline date was back here on 6/25. The project's currently finishing on 7/4. When we look at the linkages between the two projects and the master project, you're going to start to see that here was the original baseline, here's the current date of project 2, it's coming in, and the deadline that it had was coming off the key milestone of 7/1, and this again creates this -3 days of total slack or total float. And also shows that right now the current phase 1 completion date is 3 days behind schedule caused by this negative float. Okay, and you can see that up here in project 1, because there's 6/25 is the current projected finish date of the project, and 7/1 is the milestone it's connected to, it's got 4 days of extra time before it's going to run into a negative float, so it's on schedule. If I happen to open up the other option we have is we can use our options, and if you go to your project options and you go to your advanced, you have this ability down here to show or turn off these external links between the two projects. You can uncheck these two boxes, and in doing so, your project will show without the grayed sub-project tasks to it, and you get just a much cleaner look of what your master schedule looks like without the links turned on. And again, I think I'm going to run ahead of schedule here, is the desktop master schedule lateness, and this is the whole purpose behind this, is I can look at my master schedule and I can see that I actually have -3 days of lateness in my master schedule. We've seen this multiple times now, and it's pointing to the problem of in project 2's completion. And we go look at project 2 completion, we see that we're running late, and we go forth from there. Okay. I'm going to open up our key milestone project. And I'm going to check it out. And right now you can see I have my phase 1 completion, and I don't have my project 3 start date is set up after it. So 2 things I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my project 3 start date. It's going to be a milestone, and it's going to be connected. Finish start. I select the first one task I'm going to go. I select my second task. I can then go to the task, and I can use my link to create my finish to start relationship between the project 1 and the project 3 start milestone in my plan. If I then go out to my system and I open up a new project, or open up my browse for my projects, and I open up project 3, you can see that I have project 3. I'm going to check it out. So I now have 2 projects open. We're going to go ahead and create the link. So to do so, I'm going to go to View. I go to a new window. I select my first project, the second project, and I say OK. And this opens up this virtual master. And you can see currently that let's bring this more into focus, that the start date of project 3 is way back at the original planning date, and it's not currently linked to the key milestone project at all. So if I select my key milestone task, and I use my control select to get to the first task in the project, I then go back to my task and I create link. I now have connected my start of project 3 to the phase 1, indirectly to the project 3 start date milestone, which is connected to the phase 1 milestone. So this is kind of option 1, where I can connect it straight to the a receiving milestone. Option 2 is to link it to the milestone to the start. Create the same link again. And this receiving milestone becomes
Hey John, sorry to interrupt you, but I see that people can't see your screen.
Oh.
Yeah, they're asking you to move your project to your other monitor.
Which monitor are they seeing?
I'm not sure. I see desktop, master schedule. Lateness is what I see.
Oh, you're seeing the presentation?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That better?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. How far back did we miss?
Just like a minute.
Okay, I'm going to back up then.
Yeah. Oh, so they want you to start from the beginning.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay. So I have opened up my key milestone schedule, and currently the only project linked to it is project 1. I can then turn around and create my project 3 start milestone. in this project. And then from the project 1 completion to the project 3 start, I'm going to create the traditional finish to start link between those two tasks. So again, I have a project 3 is finish to, or project, the successor to task 3 is 4 in my project plan. I'm then going to go out and I'm going to open my project 3. I'll check it out. And as you can see, the current start date of project 3 is 5/22, which was the original date this project plan was created. What we do now is we're going to go up to View on our toolbar. We go to New Window on that toolbar. We select the key milestone. This becomes the order that they get listed together. I then select my project 3. And this is this new window. I'm going to use the Gantt with timeline, and I say OK. So I now have a virtual master, is the way I refer to this as, where I have the tasks from the key milestone projects, and the project 3 are grouped together in a project, and this project currently is called project 2. When the new window comes up, it creates a new project, and it'll have some ubiquitous names such as project 2, 3, 5, whatever we have. I then have the ability in this virtual master to select my receiving milestone, Control Select to get to my first task, go to my task milestone or task toolbar and select my link process. And I now have linked the start date of project 3 to the receiving task, which is connected to the project 1 completion milestone within the project above. So the project planner didn't have to set a start date. He's actually letting this project float to be controlled by the start of this project 1 date. What makes this nice is over time, if I have to change this milestone and I now make this milestone 7/4, we'll just pick on the calendar. And let's make this, we'll make it Friday the 7/6, and we're going to say continue. It shows the deadline which I originally set on my milestone. It shows the new start date of 7/6, and project 3 automatically is pushed to start on 7/6 because the phase milestone has been changed. Okay. The project manager of project 3 doesn't have to make a change to their project to get the impact of the change in the key milestone. Okay. The other option we have is I can connect myself to the phase 1 completion milestone and directly to the receiving task, and I'm going to get the same presentation. This task becomes really irrelevant at this point, but it does create a visualization. It gives you a place of visualization within the project 1 task. Okay. The third option we have is to immediately go up here, and I'm going to go to my toolbar and I'm going to create a new summary task. Yep. And I'm going to insert the remaining tasks underneath it. Yep. I didn't mean to create a new summary task down there. Okay. Project 3. Okay. Let's try this again. Insert a new task. Take my remaining tasks and insert them. I now have a project 3 summary. I can take my Start Milestone and go to my summary task. And I can create the link here. And now that I've actually got the virtual master, you don't get much of a representation right now because when you open up the virtual master, it shows the links. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, go File, and Close. This is this virtual master. You'll always see it with this project sum number. I'm going to say no discard, no discard changes, and say OK. I now have 2 schedules in the system. And I can come back up here to my view, and I can do my arrange all. And what we're going to see is I'm going to see a representation, and I can increase this one a little bit down. You can see that in my key milestone schedule here on the bottom, I'm actually monitoring. I can see the progress of the Project 3 as it's not started, but it starts on 7/1. And up here in my project above, I actually have this representation of the summary task, and I have my progress showing above. So you get this kind of this duality of representation within the individual schedules. I can then go to File, make sure I'm on the right project. I can do the File, Close. I can save and check in my key milestone. I can do File, Close. I can save and check in my master schedule. So as a program manager or in a review session, I would go out to my server and I would open up my key milestone schedule. When I check it out, it's actually opening up and finding any other references that are out there, and I then have my schedule opened. Now, at the program level, we make some sort of decision that I'm going to, for whatever reason, Sunday was not the right date. We really needed this to finish on Friday the 6th. I'm making a change in my master milestone schedule to 7/6. I did this as an independent entity from where I was. I might have had that lateness we saw before, and I'm going to go ahead and make a change to my key milestone schedule. I'm then going to hit File, Close. I'm going to save and check in this key milestone schedule. If I then do Open, and I open up my Project 3, as a project manager, I'm working on the server, and I'm going to open up Project 3 because I got some work to do in it. When I open up the project and I check it out, I actually get this nice notification that the links between the projects has been changed. And what it's telling me is the link that I'm getting from my key milestone project has been shifted from 7/1 to 7/6. Is letting me know what is the change coming from my external predecessors. If I had any changes to successors, I would see that too. And when I say accept all and I hit close, my schedule will automatically see the update from the key milestone schedule without me not even having to open up the key milestone schedule. Okay? So the impact is automatically fed through the system so that the recipients or the scheduled impacts that are changed off that key milestone change are felt by all other individuals without using a master schedule. You actually got your alert. I can then turn around and file and save and publish this project, and we're going to move from there. So we go File, Close. We're going to save and check it in. So the last demonstration I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up a new schedule, and we're going to create our virtual master. So I'm going to go to a project. I'm going to go to sub-projects. I'm going to go out and find my key milestone project. Right now it says link to project. I can say read only here, but I can say insert. After I insert it, if I bring up the task information, I can go to the advanced tab and make sure I'm bringing it in read only, and I say OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that for my other 3 projects. Bring in project 1, I can say read only when I'm bringing it in, and I say insert. I insert sub project 2, read only, insert, file, sub project, insert project 3, read only, insert. And I'm going to do file, save as, save. I'm going to save as a file. I'm going to use all my enterprise fields that I should have them. And I'm going to say this is my desktop master schedule demo. And hit save. And basically he's asking me, do I want to save the changes to project 1? And I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm not sure what I'm saying here. Okay. No. No. Yes. No. No. So I have my 3 projects, my project schedule saved. I probably should have reversed the order when I inserted them. So I could take this task and move it down. Take 2, 1, move it down. Take 2, move it down. I got 2. I'm going to hit my save. And I'm going to hit close. If I then go out to my desktop and I say open, I should be able to open my master schedule. I then have my inserted projects. So this is actually, if you look at the links in these projects, I'm actually expanding the projects from the server as I'm opening them. If you look at the information on these inserted projects and you look at your advanced tab, you're going to see this less than, greater than, slash, which basically is indication that it's linked to a server project. If it's to a local project, it would actually have the local address. And I immediately have this ability to open up a master project that's not connected, not stored onto the server for the purposes of looking at a master project without having a master project created or saved in this server environment. Okay. That's the end of any demonstrations. I don't know if we have time for any questions, but.
Hey, John, I don't see any questions in the chat, so I think we're good.
Okay. I thank you for your time today, and hope you enjoy making use of key milestone projects.
Thank you, John.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.